When I saw him standing there, I was like, he's kind of cute. But also I had a little bit of gin and tonic. If I go to the mall and I'm with him, like, oh, can you get me one of those? As if you get them from the supermarket. We decided that instead of getting a wedding, rather we invest in buying ourselves a home and a family car. We almost lost our daughter when I was pregnant. We met in 2015, February, on Valentine's Day. I was staying in Braamfontein and I was studying in Wits University. And I saw him in a bar. And I shot my shot and here we are. When I saw him standing there, I was like, he's kind of cute. But also I had a little bit of gin and tonic. I mean, a little bit.
Not much.
So some courage. And then I gave him my numbers and I told him, call me. And then he did. He came to Bram every single day from that day.
I think I also approached, because by that time I was not so shy. I spent time in South Africa already 1 year, so I was a bit used to... It was the crisis. So in Spain, there were no jobs. So then they offered me an option to come to South Africa. I think I fell in love from the first time.
Really? Aww.
Yeah.
For me, it was more, he was like a male version of myself. Someone that I can have fun with, laugh with. And I was like, oh, this guy, Our personalities are very similar and positive also, because life can be hectic and it's always nice to go through life with someone who sees the positive side of it. And now I meet this guy, he's really, really nice. I want to be with him, but maybe it's not the right time. Maybe in 2 years or in a year, or we decided that, okay, let's just break up. And I realized that he realized that, hey, I really want to be, I'm miserable. I want to be with this person. And when we got back together, it was
perfect,
Yeah. There's not a day that I would question that, does he love me? He shows his love and affection, even to the kids. Because he's very consistent. He's always there. He panics. Maybe we're going to the school meeting and he's more like thinking about it.
Very intense.
He wants to talk about it. Even this morning, even last night, the teacher said that she needs to work on the maths. He's set on something. Oh Lord, we are late. We need to go. Sometimes it's like, hey, just relax and breathe, and it's okay. We've got this.
You've got more highs and lows than the men usually. What I like about her is that she's very chill, very settled always. Sometimes she might go suddenly, these days, and she goes, but then she comes back. The next day she's like, Benat, sorry. I think that's the best for a family life or couple life. What I like less, all these romantic things that she requests me. My parents, they didn't even have a wedding. They never give flowers to each other. They never did anything, nothing romantic. I met this one and she's all about romance. I'm trying my best, but yeah.
What I love most about our relationship is the laughter. We used to go to Mandela Square and would sit on the stairs eating donuts and just looking at people pass, and then would laugh at their outfits or would comment about their life, or maybe would make up stories about them. We're super, super simple. Yes,
Yeah, we love gossiping.
We gossip. Or when he says, I'm going to meet a friend. Oh, I'm waiting with my cell phone. And I'm checking the time. When is he coming home? And then when he gets home, we're like, so what happened? It's like, honey, let's just put a meal together.
Please, let's sit.
This one needs a sit down.
What I like is that we are positive. Yeah, we like to be happy. They always say the glass is half, depends how you see this, half empty or half full. So we like to see it half full, always. We come from different backgrounds, different culture. But surprisingly, it didn't add any difficulty. I think her mom was very, very advanced to her time.
And that because I'm not cultural. I was born in Tanzania, but I was adopted by a South African who married my mom when I was young, and we came to South Africa post-apartheid. So he went into exile, and when he fell in love with my mom, we moved to Meadowlands. And also being raised in South Africa from Tanzania, you lose most of the cultures because you're in a different society. And also I'm a feminist. So in terms of lobola, I wanted him to be my equal. So I didn't believe in part of that. And my mom also being an African woman, a black woman in society. She had difficulties growing up, especially seeing how men can dominate in your household because of certain beliefs and cultures, that it's not for us. When I said, hey mom, I don't want to participate in this and this, and for her to accept it, she said, I hear you and it's okay, and I can see that you're very happy.
They were happy to have someone different. It was quite shocking.
Yeah.
We didn't even realize, but then after being there after 1 year or 2 years, seeing other experiences, other people, like maybe people are racist, and suddenly ours is like the opposite. Everyone is welcoming, they appreciate someone different.
Yes.
We spend so much time in Spain, in the Basque Country, with our family and friends. That's why we keep going.
I feel like I'm one of them. And for my mother-in-law, I feel like I'm her daughter. She comes, she visits, she's hands-on, she's very loving with me and the kids. So I never felt, even my father-in-law, the same. And for him also with my mom and my dad, he never felt any type of way.
Always respected.
Yeah.
Even your dad coming from the exile.
From exile. We never thought of it until some days when we sat and we're like, hey, he accepts him because he's from the struggle, and that was shocking for us. Oh, when planning our wedding, we didn't have any culture clashes because we went to the Home Affairs to sign. I was at work and he was at work. And then I asked one of my work colleagues to come with me to Home Affairs. We went there, we signed. And the reason why we signed is because at that time, we didn't have a house and we didn't have a car. So we decided that instead of getting a wedding, which is something for one day, rather we invest in buying ourselves a home and a family car. And then we don't have to owe anybody. My parents supported it. They were like, okay, if you're putting it in a home for you guys, then it makes sense. But the signing thing was difficult at the beginning because at first they looked at him and they were like, oh, you're a foreigner. But then they redirected from him to me. My dad, on my birth certificate, it says Stephen Buswe, who is a Tswana man in South Africa. They looked at me, I had to prove my citizenship rather than him. So he was more like, oh, and it was all on me.
But then we had to do an exam as well in Home Affairs to see if we spend time together.
It worked out in the end.
That's an issue when you are foreigners and your kids here, and then...
Finally, we got everything. Our kids are Spanish citizens living in South Africa, and in South Africa they have double passports. It was in 2016. It was my first overseas trip. Super excited. My first Christmas with your family. It was really nice. It's a beautiful, but it was a small town filled with normal people like here. Very chilled, very nice. My mom was like, hey, you must go and come back. Don't go and get stolen. Are you sure that you are going? And I was like, Mom, I'll come back. Are you sure? It's like, I'll come here. My daughter is going away, yo. But as soon as I landed and then we video called every day, and then she saw that, okay. But also she had met his parents before, so that also calmed her down. For me, I never got a backlash. Mostly I got like, wow, yo, kumnandi ne? Yeah, if I go to the mall and I'm with him, like, oh, can you get me one of those? As if you get them from the supermarket. Those are the comments that I get.
We never got any
surprisingly
bad comments, even in Spain.
Maybe they are gossiping about
and
us.
And we travel to Portugal, we travel to different places, but never. I can't remember a situation where it was awkward.
Yeah, but I do feel his whiteness when important things come, like we need to get a house. If he sets up the meeting versus if I set up the meeting, most likely they'll say, oh, we are full, or there are no houses, we'll call you. And then when he calls immediately, oh, we're even available today if you want to. When he calls the schools, it's immediately. Or when I go give birth, for me, because the rate of Black women dying through labor is much, much higher. And we saw that at some point when we almost lost our daughter when I was pregnant. And I was there waiting. As soon as he arrived, they attended to me, and this is a private hospital. So I always tell him, when I'm giving birth to the kids, you need to be there. You need to ask the doctors questions, because that's my biggest fear, because I know a lot of Black women face this reality where they might not come out through labor because they feel that we can endure pain much, much more than the other. I don't speak Spanish, but I do understand it. And I know some words. Mi amor, habla español.
Romantic.
Cariño, un poquito.
Un poquito.
And then he also speaks Basque. They switch from Basque to Spanish, which makes it much harder.
Yeah.
But the kids do speak Spanish.
But then they get there and the kids are speaking Basque. And my kid is like, I know so many languages, but still...
I need to learn another one.
Tswana, Zulu...
No.
I'm so bad for the languages. Even when I came here, struggling too so long. Now I speak English quite properly.
Twice I've heard my daughter coming home and saying someone said, you are brown.
But luckily she's in the French school, so most of the kids are like her. Where we are from, there's so much immigration now. So there's so many black kids
in the
at the moment in the schools, in the bus. Since we started going in 2015 to now, it's like shocking how many black kids are already integrated in society.
And that was also one of my biggest things, to raise my kids in South Africa. And I didn't want my kids to start feeling insecure about themselves. And it was very important for them to be in South Africa where they can see different shades of brown or black or white, and so that they can feel more normal. The culture that they lean more towards, I think it's both, because they spend a lot of time here and we're very family orientated, and they also spend a lot of time in the Basque. And they are also family orientated. The least favorite part about his white side, being serious about serious things. Because like I said, I'm nonchalant, like, hey, that also comes with the negative, because then if you have to do paperwork and you're like, I'll do it in the last minute, they must be done, they must be punctual. And what I don't like is the panic. Sometimes I feel like I might turn into ukere. I'm just, cruising through life. And then he's like, this needs to get fixed.
On the black side, that is the vibe. Even when you go to supermarkets or everything, you see black people are like happier. They go through so many struggles, so many issues, but they're still happy.
An appreciation of life. I think when you struggle a lot, you start appreciating the smallest things. The biggest culture shock is the amount of present dads. I had a dad, but most of my friends never had dads in their lives, because I thought that was the norm. And then I went to his town, and I remember I used to say to my mother-in-law, you are so lucky that you've been married for this long and you never had problems, and he's so available. And then when I went that side, I realized that it's a norm. What we face is not a norm. When we had the Christmas party, when Nia was 3 months old, and we invited lots of family, it was full of family members. And then we realized that there are so many kids, but they are of single mothers. And we were the only couple. Young black fathers are super hands-on.
Like in everything, it takes time. It takes time.
Now it's going to be a new generation of something that those young kids are going to see as normal.
Yeah.
What was your culture shock?
People love to show. And then suddenly you see, I don't know how many Mercedes.
People prioritize cars more than
and showing,
flashing.
Even clothes. In my town, they don't even know what Versace is. And here, everyone is trying to show up. But again, it takes time, so it's new money.
What I would say to someone who's in an interracial relationship or who has doubts, it's a normal relationship like any other relationship. It's got problems like any other relationship. It's all about the person, the personality, the person's ethics and morals, more than the race. Different
cultures most of the time adds difficulties, because you inherit different point of views. To focus on the person. If the person is good, he's got good values, then it should be fine.